Also, more on the far-left smear machine. You just heard Bernie Goldberg address. Joining us now from Washington, Fox News analyst Mary, Katherine, Hamm, and Juan Williams. All right, Juan, you heard my talking points. You heard Bernie on his top 5 in the smear machine. I don't expect you to pile on. In fact, I don't want you guys to do that. But the smear machine, the thing that ignited the Limbaugh controversy last week, I think this is a serious thing in America, and I don't think most Americans have a clue, Juan.
Well, you know what? I don't think I had a clue for the longest time until they went after me. And I tell you what, it's very real. It's not a fantasy. It's not something you're making up to make a great show. It's a fact. It's very real. And I can tell you, I bear the scars. They will distort what you say. They will take it out of context. And then they will lambaste you in the most personal way to make you an absolute demon. So I think it's very real. Now, let me just say that when he goes through that list, though, and you come to things like Limbaugh, I think Limbaugh is a guy who says outrageous things for a living. I mean, it's part of what makes his show so successful. He's a terrific comedian entertainer, and I don't say that to diminish him as a political voice.
He's a standalone guy, Limbaugh. He stands alone on what he does on the radio and his internet site. The other thing is organized and very well financed. Millions of dollars are being pumped into this far-left smear machine by people like Soros, Peter Lewis, God knows who else behind the curtain. When you have that kind of money and power, you have the Daily Kos, you have MSNBC, you have the New York Times. When you have that concentrated, they can make a person like you. They can marginalize you, Juan. They can make people hate you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But don't you think that
dangerous.
Limbaugh has a national audience, Bill? He's coast to coast, and he's 3 hours a day. And I think lots of people on the left say that the very things that you're pointing out are simply a counterweight to the power of Limbaugh.
And this is an important difference, Juan, and I'll get to you in a minute. It's a difference between being upfront and knowing what the product is because it's there, and being stealth, all right? Not knowing what's going on behind the curtain. Go ahead, Mary.
Well, I was going to say, first of all, Rush speaks for 3 hours a day to a national audience with a huge target on his back and all of these people gunning for him, and not that often comes up with a controversy, which I think actually speaks to his skillfulness in being a decent advocate for conservatism. The Obama wants to fail thing, maybe not the most elegant way he's ever said anything, but part of a more reasonable point that he was making about certainly conservatives are going to fight against generous parts of Obama's administration and plan because they think they're bad for America. And that's just honest dissent, which the left, of course, thought was patriotic up until a month ago, and now it's not.
Yeah, when they did it, it was fine now. But look, were you aware, Mary Katherine, of the extent of this smear machine until we started reporting on it? Juan got caught up in it. Were you aware of it?
Well, yeah, I think I was. I went to journalism school and I spent some time in the newsroom. I was the only right-winger in the newsroom for a while. And there is certainly a hostility in the mainstream media and who certainly work in concert with these other left groups. The funny thing about the left groups like Media Matters and Daily Kos is they're so deluded about the actual media that they think that they're necessary in order to counter the New York Times' conservatism. I mean, it's ludicrous the way they see things.
They say that, but
they make that argument over and over again.
Yeah, but their best friends are in those precincts. All right, let's get
But they just want to push them farther and farther left.
Let's get to Barack Obama. The British press saying that he's overwhelmed with the